Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? There's no doubt in my mind that Errol Spence, he has just as much respect for Mikey Garcia as Mikey Garcia has for Errol Spence. Errol Spence, he just said some things recently about Mikey Garcia that I thought was pretty interesting. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and quote exactly what he had to say. Mikey Garcia is daring to be great. He wants to move up and try to dethrone me, and it's not going to happen. It's definitely not going to be an easy fight. He will be pound for pound number one if he beats me, but it's not going to happen. I'm a 147 pounder, he's a 135 pounder, and there are weight classes for a reason. Mikey will be a challenge fight because he has great skills, but I see myself winning. I don't really see anything that concerns me. He's technically good, I'm technically sound too. I have speed and power, but I don't see him hurting me at 147. I just see me winning the fight, period. You know, I'm really curious to see how Mikey Garcia is going to deal with the height and the reach of Errol Spence. Because the funny thing is, before Mikey Garcia fought against Robert Easter, Mikey was always the taller fighter. He was always able to take advantage of his opponents with his reach and height. And he's very good at moving around the ring. But it'll be really interesting to see how he deals with, once again, Errol's reach and height. Because Errol, he's definitely going to use his range way better than Robert Easter did. You heard Errol Spence say that if Mikey Garcia beats him, he's pound for pound number one, the best fighter in the world. And I don't think anyone could disagree with that, except for Terrence Crawford. If Mikey Garcia was able to pull off this huge, what would be a huge upset, there's no doubt about it, he would have to defend that pound for pound belt against Terrence Crawford, because Terrence will definitely come after him. Just like when he recently confronted Mikey Garcia's trainer and brother, Robert Garcia, and he told Robert Garcia to his face, "I will knock your brother out." Terrence Crawford, he also walked up on Errol Spence and told Errol that he wants that smoke as well. That's just Terrence Crawford's style. But going back to Errol Spence, when he says he doesn't see Mikey Garcia hurting him at all, he talked about him being a 135 pounder and he's a 147 pounder. I'll just say this, obviously anything is possible in the sport of boxing, and Errol Spence definitely should not underestimate Mikey Garcia's power. I've been telling you guys that I truly believe that Mikey Garcia's power is definitely underrated. I've heard fans say, you know, he couldn't knock out Robert Easter and Adrian Broner, and I just talked about this in my last video, but I'm gonna go ahead and reiterate the point. Once again, when fighters fight very cautious, they're fighting to not get knocked out. Those are the most difficult opponents to knock out because that's the main thing they're focused on, right? That's like if you in there with a guy who has a massive right hand and that's all you're focused on the whole night is not getting hit with that right hand. Guess what? You're going to avoid the majority, if not all of those right hands. You may get hit with some other stuff because you're so focused on the right hand, but you guys get my point. And I believe when it comes to Robert Easter and Adrian Broner, even though Robert Easter, he tried in spurts, I believe he fought so cautious that he, once again, he was just making sure that he didn't get knocked out, knowing that he was behind on the scorecards. Now, I don't want people to get the message misconstrued. No one is fighting to get knocked out. Nobody wants to get knocked out. But my point is, there's a difference from making sure you don't get knocked out and still winning the rounds, as opposed to making sure you don't get knocked out and giving up rounds. And that's pretty much what Adrian Broner and Robert Easter were doing in the majority of the rounds against Mikey Garcia. And you have to attribute that to, once again, Mikey Garcia's underrated power. Because I truly believe it was the power of Mikey Garcia that got Broner and Easter's respect in those fights. But there's no doubt about it, Errol Spence is definitely not going to give Mikey Garcia that much respect, in the ring at least. But we'll see how it all goes down in March. I'm gonna go and wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.